Welcome to the first episode of Tax Talk with Titan Tax. I'm your host, Cindy Marie, and today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood phrases in IRS tax resolution, the Fresh Start IRS program. Taxpayers hear that phrase and think, oh, the IRS is going to delete my debt and give me a fresh start. Honestly, I've seen their commercials and it gives that impression of a clean slate, a do-over. As tax professionals, we hear it all the time. Clients who want it, who ask, and some who even demand for a fresh start because they believe it'll automatically reduce their balance. There are even companies out there who are brave enough to ride that wave. But here's the truth. The IRS Fresh Start Program is not one single program, and it shouldn't be sold as one. Why? Because it's not a magic button. It doesn't automatically reduce the balance, and not every taxpayer qualifies for every resolution. It actually refers to several different IRS resolution options. There are payment plans, offering compromise, currently non-collectible, lien relief, penalty abatement, and even partial pay installment agreements. Each one has different rules and different qualifications. They all depend on either one or all of these things. The IRS allowed standard amounts, the taxpayer's actual income, expenses, assets, compliance, total assessed balance, and CSEDs. In this episode, we're breaking down what it really means and what it doesn't, and why both taxpayers and tax professionals need to be careful with that phrase. The biggest issue with the phrase fresh start is that it makes taxpayers think the IRS is giving them an actual clean slate, when really all that it means is setting up a resolution so that the taxpayer is back on track, technically a fresh start. This can mean something as simple as setting up a payment plan, getting the first-time penalty abatement, or a lien withdrawal. And yeah, there are some cases where the IRS accepts the offer and compromise, and the taxpayer does get to pay less than the full amount. But it's not automatic, and it's not easy to qualify for. Not everyone qualifies for every program, so the idea of a fresh start for everyone is just misleading. One of the most tedious parts of the Fresh Start illusion is balance reduction. The IRS does not reduce balances just because someone owes or just because they asked or claimed to be in a hardship. The harsh reality is that the IRS is facts, not feelings. They look at a taxpayer and ask, can they pay? Do they have assets? Do they have disposable income? Are all of their returns filed? Are they current with their withholdings or estimated payments? What is the total assessed balance? Is there a hardship within the IRS standards and have substantiating proof? Finally, how much time do we have left to collect that debt? Those are the real questions and also the real problems, because getting those answers and then explaining to taxpayers why they don't qualify for one or more of the programs can be a nightmare. The Fresh Start program refers to essentially any IRS resolution, whether it's a payment plan, offer and compromise, currently non-collectible, or a lien relief or penalty abatement. But again, they're individual resolutions, not just one. And a payment plan is not the same as an offer and compromise. C&C is not the same as forgiveness, and a penalty abatement does not remove the tax. That is why the phrase is so dangerous. It combines too many different resolutions into one phrase and makes people think they qualify for something bigger, better than what's actually possible, or things that they just may not qualify for. Here's a great example. You have two clients that both owe the same amount, and yet they end up with completely different resolutions. One may qualify for a payment plan or require a down payment to remove liens. Another may qualify for C&C, while someone else may qualify for an offer and compromise because their RCP is lower than their balance. So they may have come in with the same balance, but different facts in different situations get different resolutions. Those facts, their breakdowns, and all the little details is what determines the real IRS resolution. I hope the takeaway from this episode is the truth behind the Fresh Start myth. Myth explained. There's no magical IRS Fresh Start button or solution. Only real resolution options based on IRS rules, detailed math, documentation, compliance, and strategy. Throughout this series, I'm going to break down the real resolution options that are often lumped together under the Fresh Start name. We'll talk about payment plans, including a few methods I use for tougher cases, offer and compromise, currently not collectible, lien relief, penalty abatement, and partial pay installment agreements. Because the goal is not to chase a phrase. The goal is to understand what real resolution options taxpayers actually have available to them and how they can truly qualify. Thank you for listening to Tax Talk with Titan Tax. This was episode 1, the IRS Fresh Start Myth.